He's an extremely experienced rider. Very, very resourceful. Very, very tactful. Very, very good under pressure. This is the first real challenge on the course, 7 and 8, very big. And Abdullah does it just beautifully. He looks pretty sensible. The crowd noise here has been something of a factor today, especially for the American horses. But Abdullah looks very good right to now.
Now the water. Clear.
He a little bit, oh heavens, he was a little bit divey over that, and it comes down. It was wider than he expected it to be. Now Conrad has to hustle through the big 3 combination. But does that just perfectly. Very solid technician. This is a tough line now. Let's see how Conrad executes this technically. Horse very well put together, coming to it just in an ideal form. Jumps the wall. Conrad really shortens.
Oh, lucky there. Rolling in the rocker, but not going down.
Last fence, and it comes down too, so Conrad finishes with 8 faults. Not a bad score still.
So for the Americans, clear round 0 for Joe Fargis, Leslie Burr with 1 knockdown, 4 penalty points, and Conrad Homfeld with 8, 2 knockdowns, and yet to ride for the United States will be the talented Melanie Smith. The Swiss at 16 points now. They had the other clear round. Heidi Robiani delighted the crowd here. Capacity crowd at Santa Anita, Bill, with just a brilliant ride over the course.
That's right, but we're not badly off, Chris, because the worst we can be for the first round is 12.
And there are 15 countries represented. Each country allowed 4 starters. The lowest 3 in point totals will count at the end of the day. This is the first of 2 rounds in this competition. It is team competition, not individual. That will take place on the closing day here in Los Angeles and at Santa Anita on Sunday. So Abdullah has that part of his day finished, but he'll be back a little bit later as the second round will take place. So here at Santa Anita now, we're going to take a break. We're trying to get an interview with Conrad Homfeld. We'll bring you that following this. Mexican rider here at Santa Anita, and Bill, the Mexicans today have not had a good day up to this point.
No, but they're still alive, and Gerardo's got 3 fences down. That's the 4th coming into the 3 combination. He looks like he's going to finish this competition even so, and they'll come back in the second round.
You know, there have only been 2 non-European countries that have ever won the team gold medal. Mexico in 48, and then in 68, it was Canada.
Well, maybe we could change that this time, Chris. Right. You never know. We've got a very strong Canadian team to go and a very strong U.S. team to go.
There's another fence down in the double, and that was number 15, his last effort here. And 24.25 for the Mexican rider. Now let's join Tad Coffin. He's ready to talk now to Conrad Homfeld.
Thanks, Chris. I'm down here in the warm-up area with Conrad Homfeld, who's just come out of the ring. Conrad, you had a very nice round, 8 faults. Why are so many of these top horses and riders having difficulty with this course?
Well, today Bert's made the degree of difficulty just very high with distance problems and the colors that he's used, and also the sequence in which he's put the jumps out. They're not big, but the degree of difficulty is just very high.
He seems to be putting a premium on the rider. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
And what is he looking for from the rider? What kind of skills is he demanding from you?
Well, he's wanting that you've got a horse in perfect control. Interestingly enough, the only horses that have jumped this course clean are 2 small mares.
Yeah.
The quickness of stride and easy adjustments he's really put a high premium on that.
Yeah. And how do you feel the last American rider is going to go? It seems to be that we're really doing well, and the premium that we have is the kind of premium the American riders really do have.
I'll be punished for whatever I say, so I'm not going to make any predictions. I think we're prepared, and we'll let it go. And
okay, Conrad, thank you very much for coming down and seeing us, and now we'll go back to you, Chris.
All right, Tad, and of course Melanie Smith yet to ride here in the first round of 2 in the team competition equestrian at Santa Anita. More from here and more Olympic coverage, but first, this pause.
I haven't been able to find a thinner pad that will protect as well as a thick pad.
Watch Nancy Neuheisel discover that Maxi Thins give her maxi absorbent protection.
There's no way that this is going to soak up as much water as this.
Only Maxi Thins has the Maxi Absorbent Center for maxi absorbent protection.
Oh my, this is soaking it up and this is not. If any of the Maxi Thin products has this same center, you could never ask for more.
The Maxi Absorbent Center, only in Maxi Thins pads and panty shields.
They should have invented this years ago.
The Grand Coulee Dam, built to harness the power of the Columbia River and provide electricity for millions. That took bold imagination, and it made this country grow. Today, I see that same kind of imagination in hundreds of small to mid-sized companies whose new ideas, new jobs, and new technologies will continue to build America. At First Jersey Securities, we specialize in discovering such emerging growth companies for today's investors with vision. First Jersey Securities, come grow with us.
The trouble with most reports is they look like all other reports. Boring. Now you can copy reports that stand out with a Canon NP270F. It makes up to 27 copies a minute in black, brown, or blue. Will enlarge or reduce your ideas. Can automatically feed and collate. So if you want to avoid this, get yourself a very colorful, very affordable Canon 270F. For information, call toll-free.
As a fighter, you like to be a little bit hungry, but you don't want the kind of hungry that's in your stomach. You want the kind of hungry that's in your heart. Snickers satisfies you. You eat a Snickers bar, get you over to that next meal, you feel much better.
Packed with fresh peanuts, peanut butter nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. Satisfies you. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
This Snickers bar here is a super heavyweight bar.
Official snack food of the 1984 Olympic Games.
Fine Schnitt. He had a fine round going, but he's had a refusal, and he's going to have time penalties. He's had knockdowns, and his total, 32.50. But remember, 4 riders from each of the 15 countries are allowed to enter 4, and that at the end of 2 rounds of competition, they use the 3 lowest scores in the medal count. So at this moment, as we have 17 riders left in the field of 60, the United States with 12 penalty points, Switzerland with 24, Great Britain with 27, Canada 32, West Germany 33, and France 37 3/4. Spain with 52.50 total points. Disappointing round, but there's one yet to come. On the course now, we have a member of a family that's been involved with horses for a long time. This is 39-year-old Paul Schakamula. He'll be riding Deister. He's had a lot of experience, Bill.
Well, he's a wonderful rider. He's won just about everything in the world, and he ought to give some encouragement to the riders who start out without a very promising beginning, because when I first saw him ride, I thought he was absolutely dreadful. I thought that compared to his brother Alvin, he was hopeless and would never make a rider. And through his intelligence and hard work, he's become one of the great riders in the world. The German team has 2 8-fault rounds in front and 1 17. They've got to get rid of the 17. They could have a score of 16 for their 3 riders in the first round if Paul can go clear. And Paul is one of the few guys in the world who can do it. He figures to have a very good round.
The Star in Motion fence.
Very risky. He made a sharp turn back to 2 just to give himself the time allowed, because you only get penalty points if you're over the time allowed, which is 119 seconds on this occasion. Paul doesn't want to have to chase down the fences more than he needs to. So he's going to make a turn here and there and then ride the fences at the speed he wants to ride them at.
Number 5 of 15 fences here at Santa Anita. 18 jumping efforts.
Okay, now he comes to the first big question. 7 and 8 have to be jumped very, very accurately. Deister can do it, but will Paul get there in the right way? He just makes that look like nothing. Paul is a very, very cool customer on the course. He's been under great pressure in the past, and he's triumphed over great pressure, and he knows what he's doing.
The water jump. Flag, so that is clear. Going to 11 now. There have been only 3 clear rounds. Joe Fargus did it first for the United States, and Heidi Robiani of Switzerland, followed by Tim Grubb of Great Britain.
Now, Paul could very easily be another one. He had a fence down. The very first of the three combination came down, and I must say the American riders will breathe a little bit more easily with that. But they were still going very, very well, and this will be one of the favorites for the individual competition on the final Sunday of the games.
Paul Sciacamula. Optimum time, you try to make the course under 119 seconds. A second under 2 minutes. He's at 105. He breaks the beam at 108.87, and an excellent round. Very few fours or one knockdown. Paul Sciacamula of the West German team. That will add for them 20 total faults, total points after 3 rounds with another rider yet to come. And the same is true of the United States. Melanie Smith has yet to compete here in the first round of 2 rounds today. Paul Sciacamula at Deister. Grooming goes on between as we go back and play the slow-mo of the knockdown.
Just reached a little bit too much for the combination. He jumped it really very well, but he hit the front rail of the first fence.
Venues at the Olympic Games, as Paul leaves, have great maintenance crews. Do a super job of maintaining and getting it prepared now for the next horse. A good round would have put the Canadians just behind the United States, but having had trouble now with 8 penalty points, they will be in the hunt for the medal, as this is the first round of 2. Ian Millar of Canada riding Big Ben, Bill.
Ian Miller ends with 8 faults. That gives Canada a total of 24 for the first round. Not out of touch for a medal, but the audience in the meantime is going wild, because into the ring comes Melanie Smith and Calypso.
Lady from Tennessee is next up for the United States, Melanie Smith, on her wonderful horse called Calypso. And the United States with 12 penalty points by virtue of a clear round by Joe Fargus, 4 penalty points for Leslie Burr, and 8 for Conrad Homefeld. There she is, Melanie Smith, one of the great riders, a consistent show jumper. 35 years old, born in Tennessee. Riding out of Litchfield, Connecticut now, and she's at the very far end of the course. This gives her an opportunity actually to look again at the course. They walk it once. The horse has never seen it before, and the start is to the left all the way to the opposite end, and the capacity crowd here, Bill, is giving her a very warm welcome. We hope that the crowd doesn't affect this horse as we do for the whole field of 40, because they have been cheering not only for the American riders but the other competitors as well.
Chris, this is certainly one of the most consistent, high-class combinations of horse and rider in the world. Melanie and Calypso have won everything, including the World Cup final, as she starts her course, and the audience for a moment quiets down. The situation is this. The British have an 8 and a 0 for 2 riders. They've got a discard score of 19. If their last rider goes clear, they could have 8. We've got 12 in the bank right now, and Melanie is working really on Conrad Homefeld's score of 8. If Melanie can get around with a 0 penalty point score or clear round or 4 faults even, then you could discard Abdullah's score and we would finish with 8 or conceivably even with 4.
Calypso, an 11-year-old bay gelding, Dutch bred, over at 5 now on a slight angle. Now turning to 7.
7 is the first real question on the course. Melanie and Calypso have done this kind of thing so often and made it look so easy that I still have an awful lot of confidence in him. She hustles him a little bit out of there because he dwelled just jumping into the 2. It's not a 2 combination, it's a 3 strider. Now he comes to the gate in this long line to the water.
Now the water.
Comes to water like nothing, steadies pretty well. She's got that lined up. And he jumps the big 11 oxer clearly.
Still clear. Melanie Smith of the United States on Calypso, now coming to the Redwood triple.
And it's a critical triple. He nails the in, nails the triple bar, nails the out, and coming to the last line, he's still clear, Chris.
Nice tempo. Melanie Smith and Calypso.
Melanie is a free swinger, I would say. There's no pressure that ever gets to her. Jumps the wall beautifully, sets him up for this 2 combination. This is tough. Jumps in,
touched it,
jumps out.
Down.
One more fence to go.
You're looking at a
clear round for Melanie. The U.S. team finishes the first round with only 4 penalty points, and we're going to be in front. The U.S. team is going to be in front at the end of the first round, no matter